Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Father.
Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
And a happy feast day to you. This is our parish feast, the celebration of our parish feast day. Feast day itself was Tuesday, but we always celebrate it on the Sunday afterwards because it's much better to have a full church, and it's difficult for many people to get here during the week, so we celebrate it on the Sunday after. And but in any case, this is our feast day together, and with of course our patroness. So Mildred, the church gossip and self-appointed monitor of the church's morals, kept sticking her nose into other people's business as usual. Several members did not approve of her extracurricular activities, but feared her enough to maintain their silence. She made a mistake, however, when she accused George, a new member, of being an alcoholic after she saw his old pickup truck in front of the town's only bar one afternoon. And so she emphatically told George, as he walked into church in front of many other people, that everyone seeing it there would know what he was doing. So George, a man of few words, stared at her for a moment and just turned and walked away. He didn't explain, defend, or deny. He said nothing. What Mildred didn't know was that George had lent his truck to his brother-in-law, who was without a car, so that he could go to work as a bartender. So later that evening, George quietly parked his pickup truck in front of Mildred's house and left it there all night. We do have to be careful about the things we say and about presumptions that we make and assumptions that we make. God gave us mouths to communicate, so that there aren't assumptions and presumptions. You know, today's gospel, it was one of the most beautiful endings with the words, God has visited his people. And indeed he has. He's visited this community many times. And in miraculous ways, not subtle miraculous ways either. As many of you who have been through the big ones know. But in any case, I went to today's gospel, of course, was about the widow of Nain and her son, her only son, had died, and the Lord resurrected him, and presented him to his mother. And I just want to point out that one of the reasons why this is a gospel reading for Sunday is it's a foreshadowing of Christ himself, right? God the Father raised up Christ himself, and who's the first one he presents it to? His mother, whose Feast of the Holy Protection we celebrate today. So what a wonderful connection in the gospel. But we also have several epistle readings. And yesterday's epistle reading was from 1 Corinthians. And I just want to point out, as I've talked before, there's two types of happiness, right? There's one bad and one good, and there's actually two different Greek words for happiness, right? The bad kind of happiness is eudaimonia. It's kind of the selfish, self-indulgent happiness, right? And makarios is the other one, which a lot of times in Middle English we see blessed, right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. But if we were to translate it into modern English, happy are the poor in spirit, etc., etc. The good happiness comes when you have inner peace and gratitude. I've thought about this for many years. If you want to boil down happiness, it's inner peace and gratitude to God for what you have. And when you're focused on making the lives of others better, St. Paul in yesterday's epistle said, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but not all things edify. And listen to this. Let no one seek his own, but each one the other's well-being. And here's the thing. Let's pretend. Are you going to be my volunteer? You're going to be my volunteer. So let's pretend that Olga really doesn't like me, and that she has a knife and is going to give me so you have to play this. But I'm not looking. All right. Go ahead. All right. Now, why should I not have to worry about that?
Because everyone else here should work you.
You got that right. But the same thing, I don't have to look out for my own back if you're looking out for it and I'm looking out for yours. If we don't have this sort of selfish mentality, and each one's looking out for the other one, as the Lord tells us in Scripture, I don't have to worry about that. Fortunately for Olga, I don't have to worry about it at all, which is why she became my volunteer. I knew she wouldn't place a real one where a fake one needed to be. So that's it. That is where we get happiness. Let no one seek his own, but each one the other's well-being. Being Christian doesn't change what you deal with, but only how you deal with it. I must say that this is, I was thinking about the fact, often I've heard, fasting is not a diet, so when we hit fasting periods and so on, but really it does have to do with our diet. Because our diet is not only what we eat, right? It's also what we watch, what we listen to, what we read, the people that we hang around with who drop either poison into our ears or not, right? And again, I don't mean to harp on this, but if you're watching, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry if you disagree, but it's true. If you're watching more than 30 minutes, it doesn't matter. MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, it doesn't matter. It's garbage because it's negative. It's all negative. Drip, drip, drip. Poison, poison, poison. Panic, panic, panic. It's garbage. It's not good for us. And worse yet are some internet sites which panic us even more about things in the church. There's some websites which you would think that some church leaders throughout the world are the spawn of Satan, and a lot of it's conjecture or even just lies, but it's driven by, let's face it, gossip. All those things we need to refrain from, because those don't contribute to the good happiness. They don't even contribute to the bad happiness, for crying out loud. So if you're at least shooting for something in the vicinity there of satisfaction, it doesn't. It sets our teeth on edge. One of my priest friends shared a thought on Facebook the other day. Me and God have an arrangement. If He wakes me up to see another day, I promise to try and be better than I was yesterday. And I thought that was pretty good. But then I remembered Yoda's words. Do or do not, there is no try. Sometimes, I tried. Come on, let's face it. Sometimes we say that because we just didn't want to get the job done. A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. And for what it's worth, if you dislike someone, really, dislike them alone. Don't recruit others to do it, to join your cause. We're here to build up this world around us. That's where happiness comes from. So we build ourselves up, and and we build others up around us. So, in any case, sounds like we're having a little bit of a problem back there. You know, this is the thing though at the heart of it. You know, grapes are crushed in order to get wine. Diamonds are pressure is put upon them. It's put upon coal in order to get diamonds, and so on. You know, whenever God is applying that pressure in our lives, it's for our betterment. He's making us better. And we are created in Him to do His good works. You know, the old saying is true. Either you get bitter or you get better. From the wrongs that people do you, from the misfortunes that have happened in life, either you get bitter or you get better. You either take what has been dealt to you and allow it to make you the person who is created to do the good works of God, or you allow it to tear you down. This isn't random chance. Fate doesn't determine this. You do. God put it in your hands. But the nice thing is, He gave some of us spouses that we shouldn't ever have to worry about our back. Who's at our back, right? Because the other person's there. That's the beginning of the little church. Our children, our parents, we've got to be watching their back and they watching us. And that spreads to the whole church. Where we're watching out for each other. That is a beautiful thing. So, from this day and from this very hour, let us heed the Lord's words, the great words of the Holy Spirit. Let none of us seek his own, but each one another's well-being. And then we truly fulfill the royal law of the Lord, to love one another as he has loved us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.